Thank you for the welcome. We're really excited to have launched with you guys just a day ago, and in many ways it feels just it's the most recent chapter in what's already been an extraordinary journey for the brand. I wasn't quite sure where to start with the story of All Saints and of our journey and who we are, and so I thought, what better place than the beginning? I took myself off to Sri Lanka, which this is 15 years ago. And every day I would go for a walk, or there'd be a guide say, I'll copy a suit for you, I'll copy your suit for you, I'll copy your suit for you. And every day I'd say, nah, I'm okay. Until one day I said, listen, maybe you can make some clothes for me. Up until this point, I sort of knew what I wanted to wear, and I sort of knew what I wanted him to make for me. And we got a pair of smoking trousers that he had in the store for when people had formal occasions in Sri Lanka. And we got them, and we kind of made them tight and cropped, and put the satin on the inseam. And I got an old military jacket of mine, and I took it in, so the sleeves were really skinny and the armhole was quite tight and it was quite cropped. In fact, it doesn't look terribly dissimilar actually to what I'm wearing today, or what these guys will be wearing ever since. And a couple of weeks later, when I was back in Paris, I was walking to my studio, my atelier, and an English guy stopped me in the street and in terrible French asked me if I spoke English and where my clothes were from. And he explained to me that he had a fashion brand in London, and he was interested in the look. And I kind of told him the story, and he said, this is great. You must come and work for me in London. He was a salesman. He said, it's the coolest brand in the world. It's called All Saints. And 6 months later, when I was back in London, I gave him a call, and he said, listen, come and we can do this. It was the right thing to do, and it was a very kind of exciting time for the brand then, as it is now with you guys here, because we were breaking down the boundaries of what we thought was possible to do. But fundamentally, we realized that we were dressing our community, and that was a community of individuals who were using our brand as a catalyst to express their own personality. And ultimately, that is, I suppose, the starting point for everything that we've done since. These guys, some of them I met just yesterday, hanging around the Lower East Side. Fundamentally, it's these guys and the way that they wear their clothes that inspires us. And rather than starting from a mood board for the season or any kind of broader creative direction, we look around and see how people are assembling and interpreting our brand. This could all be utterly interchanged at any moment. This is a modular wardrobe that we present. Modular in the sense that I expect it to work with everything that any of you guys have already. My job every season is to continue to reintroduce those same elements. All those years ago when I used to build work out of my atelier, I would take bits of paper and bits of magazines and the scraps of the posters you'd find in the street and build huge 3D collages from them that would show. And for me, these kind of collections, particularly on menswear, are very much that same kind of visceral, sensual way of working. Lightweight, fluid rayon, but also bleach splattered, hand-sanded, sawn down, suede trim jackets. It's kind of there's a kind of there's a visceral physicality to it. Something like this ultra fluid rayon shirt layers on and becomes almost like a second skin, regardless of whether it's being styled up, laid over a skater t-shirt or something which is kind of much more fluid. So there needs to be this kind of adaptability to this product. To go into retail terminology, I believe this is the March drop, and we see that it's a significantly lighter, brighter, poppier palette. Working with a brand like All Saints is incredible because our codes and the aesthetics of what we represent are so strong. You can put almost anything into them and it will still look like All Saints. And as much as, if you told me 5 years ago we'd be standing here with a series of brightly coloured Hawaiian shirts here, I may not have believed it, but I look at it and I can't think of anything more quintessentially All Saints than what these guys are wearing. They also have that insouciant, kind of like nonchalant, artistic rock and roll sensibility that is fundamental to the brand and the way we dress. And as much as our community 15 years ago, that group of like artists and musicians were dressing themselves in a way that felt relevant to them then, these guys are dressing in this way today. We came to further engage with our community, and it's also about engaging with all of you guys too, and saying thank you very much for like having us part of the Nordstrom family, and thank you for welcoming us into your community.